ask him this.
Mr. Robertson! Mr. Robertson! Calm yourself, man! The lion must get back in its den! The Prime Minister!
Our hard-won credibility, which we wouldn't have if we listened to the muttering idiot sitting opposite me.
I've always found the hurly-burly of Prime Minister's questions one of the best ways of finding out what a politician is really like. Without that noisy House of Commons chamber, would we know that the usually smooth and civil David Cameron has a slightly mean flashman streak? Or Ed Miliband can be a bit wooden and dithery under pressure? But as entertaining as journalists in the press gallery find PMQs, those sitting in the public gallery are rather less enthusiastic. They think there's too much party political point scoring, it's too aggressive and doesn't always deal with the important issues facing the country.
I guess they didn't let women into the Bullingdon Club either, so there we go.
The House of Commons Speaker John Bercow is naturally unsettled by this and is calling for decorum rather than decibels, scrutiny rather than screaming. Less of the male testosterone-fuelled public school twittishness, though not quite a call for Trappist monks. Personally, I think that any move to make the Commons more like a monastery and less passionate would be doing the public a disservice. Some of the worst decisions our Parliament has made have been when the three parties have cheerily nodded and agreed on an issue rather than dissecting the worst bits of a bad bill. The one thing worse than a passionate democracy would be a consensual, deferential one. Winston Churchill saw this in 1943 when he was urged by MPs to rebuild a bombed Commons with a circular chamber. He warned that he had seen many earnest, ardent parliaments destroyed by the group system.
Everyone, and particularly Gus Lord O'Donnell, very pleased to see you with us.
But the former Cabinet Secretary was the only person he could see in an empty Select Committee hearing a few weeks ago. If the public want to see earnest, lengthy debate, then Parliament offers plenty of that. The problem is that few people attend these sessions. As is the case in Congress in the States, perhaps there just isn't enough drama. Ed Miliband did try to tone things down at the start of this year, but his new consensual approach fell flat with his MPs looking far too sombre. One of the problems is that Conservative MPs have organised themselves to make as much noise as possible at PMQs. They're called the Q Team and include rowdy hecklers such as the Prime Minister's PPS Gavin Williamson and Skills Minister Matt Hancock. But they were only responding to Labour hecklers such as the Shadow Justice Secretary, Shadow Leader of the House, Shadow Cabinet Office Minister and the Shadow Chancellor. They're all as bad as each other. But while PMQs is as much about stoking tribal enthusiasm as these masks at the Horniman Museum, MPs could definitely do better to make this a truly impressive performance. This is their one opportunity each week to hold the Prime Minister to account, yet some of his backbenchers choose to waste their questions by sucking up to their boss in the vain hope of a promotion. Others choose to jeer colleagues who stumble over their words as they ask questions. But if the Speaker really wants to change the culture in the Commons, he could start leading by example.
Order! You really are a very overexcitable individual. You need to write out 1,000 times, "I will behave myself" at Prime Minister's questions. The Prime Minister.